All right, let's get right into it. We're about to explore a pretty fascinating secret from one of the most successful societies on the entire planet. I'm talking about a society that has absolutely mastered its economy for millions of years, and today, we're going to crack the code. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Have you ever seen an ant stressing out because the economy is bad? Or complaining that it's just too hard to get ahead this year? No way. They are relentless, they're organized, and they seem totally immune to the financial meltdowns that we see all the time. So, what do they know that we don't?
We always think our money problems are about, well, a lack of money. But what if the problem is something else entirely? A lot of us have the right information, we have the awareness, but we still end up stuck at square one. The real issue, the one we're going to dig into, is all in our heads.
So we are going to break down 5 key principles from the ant colony. Think of these as clues, okay? Clues that are going to lead us to the ultimate secret of their success, and more importantly, how we can actually use it in our own lives.
Okay, let's kick things off with the very first principle. And this one goes against a very common human belief.
So an ant doesn't roll out of bed and check if it's feeling it today. It doesn't sit around waiting for a good mood or some burst of energy to strike. The work just has to get done for the colony to survive, so it gets done. For them, action is a necessity, not something you do when you feel like it.
And here's where we see the big difference. Ants operate on a simple rule. Action creates its own momentum. But what do? We wait. We wait for motivation to hit, for a jolt of energy, for some kind of sign from the universe that it's the right time to start. The ant, it just starts.
So that leads us right into our second principle. This one builds on that idea of action, but it's really all about perspective. Get this, no ant has its own private stash. There's no Ant Forbes rich list. Everything a single ant collects goes straight to the colony. Their wealth, their safety, their entire economy, it's all shared. The focus is always on the health of the group.
And here's the takeaway. We tend to focus almost entirely on our personal wealth, right? Our own little pile of resources. But an ant gets that its real security is in its network, the colony. A person without a strong network is just like an ant that's been separated from its colony, totally vulnerable and probably not going to last very long.
Okay, on to our third lesson. This one is all about planning for the future. Ants just get it. They understand that life moves in cycles. There are times when things are good, that's the summer, and times when things are tough, that's the winter. They don't just live in the moment. They use the good times to work their tails off, preparing for the lean times they know are coming. And man, this one really highlights a classic human trap, doesn't it? What's the first thing we do when we get a raise or bonus? We upgrade our lifestyle. Bigger apartment, nicer car. We spend the summer's harvest right away. Then, when that inevitable recession or personal setback hits, we're left completely exposed, wondering where it all went. All right, principle number 4. This one is all about what happens when you hit a wall. It's about resilience. If you've ever just watched an ant for a minute, you've seen this happen. Put your finger in its path. Does it just give up and go home? Nope. It tries to go over, under, or around. The mission, getting that chrome back to the colony, is everything. The path to get there? That's totally flexible. This breaks it down so perfectly. For an ant, an obstacle just means it's time for a detour. For us, a single obstacle can make us doubt the entire goal. For an ant, failure is just data, time to reroute. For us, it can be a reason to quit the path completely. And criticism, the ant is way too busy to notice. For us, it can bring everything to a grinding halt. And that brings us to our 5th and final principle. And honestly, this might be the biggest mindset shift of them all.
An ant doesn't argue with reality. It doesn't curse the rain, or the heat, or the fact that the soil is too hard today. It never complains about its circumstances. It just accepts the conditions as they are and gets to work within that reality.
And here's the tough part. As long as we see ourselves as victims, blaming the government, the economy, our family, the past, our mind is trapped in survival mode. And let me tell you, it is impossible to build lasting wealth from a mindset of just trying to survive.
So, you might be thinking, okay, got it. Work even when I'm not motivated, think about my network, save for winter, be resilient, and drop the victim act. That's the secret formula, right? Well, not quite. Those 5 principles, they're incredibly important, don't get me wrong, but they're actually just symptoms of something much deeper. They aren't the real secret to the ants' success. The real secret is their system.
It's the automatic underlying programming of the entire colony that drives every single one of those behaviors without them even having to think about it.
And that, right there, is the aha moment. See, a person has to find motivation, but a system is always motivated. A person can get distracted or fall off track, but a good system basically guarantees progress. The ants don't need to read a list of principles. Their system just executes them automatically.
And this is where it all comes back to us. Without a system in your own life for how you manage your money, for how you take action, for how you build your network, you can have all the awareness in the world from explainers just like this one and still end up right back where you started.
So let's reframe this whole thing. The most powerful question you can ask yourself today is not, how do I get rich? The real question, the one this ancient wisdom leaves us with, is so much deeper. Where's the ant system in my life? And what am I going to do to start building it?